Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack.
And I'm Rick.
And today we are talking about Log Horizon Season 3, which was...
My choice.
Yes, very much so your choice. I'm happy that it was your choice. But before that, we were actually talking about the Xbox Series X, PlayStation, and kind of help educating Rick on the fact that the Xbox or console he currently has does, in fact, have a Blu-ray player. So if you want to catch the part of that water conversation, check us out, patreon.com/featured anime podcast.
Where we learn about stuff we already have and should have known a while ago.
Yeah, exactly. It's only because we love you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I don't test things out, but that's neither here nor there.
Exactly. So this actually came out really recent. It aired January 2021 and ran all the way through March 2021. It's based off of a light novel, and the studio is Deen. Its genres are action, game, adventure, magic, and fantasy. And if anything you can understand about this, it's half the episodes compared to season 1 and 2, with it only being 12 episodes long.
I don't feel like it was any shorter, though, if that makes any sense.
I feel like if it did try to match the length of seasons 1 and 2, it would have done more harm than good, personally.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. But I would also counter with the fact that even though I did want longer episodes, like I did want a longer season, it's mainly because I like the show.
Yeah.
And I feel like there is still so much story to be told.
There is.
So even after 3 seasons, and it's not common for me to feel that way about an anime.
Yeah.
Like usually they have repetition. There was some repetition here. Like there was no question, but I don't feel there was repetition in the seasons. I feel there was repetition in certain phrases, like female femininity. You know what I mean? No, you didn't. So the little ninja kept saying that this is how I show my femininity.
Oh, well,
I was going to say that was like a huge thing.
It was, but it really wasn't that big. I mean, it was lightly touched on. I don't know. What did you watch it subbed or dubbed?
Dubbed.
That'd probably be why.
Yeah, it was like Naruto's Believe It.
See, they touched on it a little bit in the subs. It wasn't that big of a deal in the subs. I mean, like they touched on it a couple of points.
I believe it. I believe it because in Naruto, I believe it wasn't even freaking there.
He said it a couple of times in the show, but they wanted to make it his tag phrase.
Yeah.
And it just kind of hurt it hard. I watched it. So anyways, while we believe it, I believe that I believe that the truth about season 3 is it dabbled on a very fine line for heavy on politics, but they handled it really well and didn't make it the entire focus of the season.
Yes. Well, that's why I said I feel like it could have been it felt like a longer show, because the first quarter dealt with who's going to rule and who's fit to rule in the absence of their leader, who's supposed to take charge in a group of people who don't want to take charge. And Shiro is an amazing schemer. The problem is he's a schemer. Like that's his thing. He doesn't want to lead. He doesn't want to he's a very big picture kind of man. And when he deals with the stuff, it's almost exclusively with what's the greater good 15 steps in advance. Not what's happening now, but like after this is already completed, you know?
Which is why I'm glad that he pointed it out. And they made him a pivotal focus again. So you had the political portion of it. It was basically who was going to lead the round table, or a newly formed round table, or the Duke, or the newly crowned Duke Ainz. And
That made me happy. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, Aizawa going? Really? Oh, never mind. It got me having a hankering for the better days when they were still working on Overlord.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Actually, no, we'll talk about that after we're done with Log Horizon. All right.
Okay.
We'll get to that after we're done with Log Horizon. So,
okay.
For Ainz being the head of the Guild of Honesty, he wanted certain things to be taken care of in a very particular way or in such a way. And while they were going through the whole campaigning for it, it really showed the differences between how many adventurers and how many people of the land there are. And it really shows the dynamics of it. What's also really interesting is Shiro being the bigger picture kind of guy before he even said, or they agreed to the whole, hey, let's have this vote to decide who's going to rule over Akiba. Let's take it to a vote. They came up to Shiro and was like, hey, we're not going to be able to run things. We're not going to be able to do everything effectively. We're not going to be able to take care of anything here unless you're a part of it. And you have to be a part of it for this to work. Like, they know how pivotal he is.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because he undervalues himself, even though he puts him, he's one of those people who's highly capable, lazy, and bless me, highly capable. Sorry, I lost my train of thought when I sneezed. Highly capable, pivotal, but behind the scenes and lazy.
Well, it's not that he's lazy. He takes on a very, I would say he takes on a majority of the burden onto himself.
Fair.
And
unnecessarily. He doesn't like sharing because it's kind of weird. He's self-sufficient in the manner that you don't think he would be, given his characteristic, you know?
Yeah, which is really kind of speaks to how he is as a person, you know? He doesn't want to put anyone out, and he doesn't mind going the extra steps to put him out. And what's also interesting is everyone truly understands how pivotal and important he is, even though they're not even in the same area as him, even though they're like from a different neighboring country. They're like, he is a very key pivotal person because, and they round it back again to the debauchery, the
tea party.
Yeah. Debauchery tea party, whatever. And everyone, it's not that they were a guild. They all had their own respective guilds and everything like that. It's just everyone that in that group came together just to do the raid, to beat it. And he was the one that took care of and planned everything. And even when it's like rounding back to season 2, when he was like prepared just by himself with his own supplies for another 10 days for 300 people, you know, in a raid, it's like shows even in this season because he's trying to help some of his, some of the his juniors get prepared for their very first raid. He's like, don't be afraid to overbuy. You know, don't be afraid to stock up on supplies. Even if you don't think you're going to need it, buy it. Just get it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Don't worry about the cost when the reward is unknown yet.
Yeah.
But what I thought was hilarious is when he started doing that, I'm like, he's Batman. Yeah. With enough prep time, he can't lose.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
It was amazing. Yeah. Honestly, is what it was. It was amazing, and I honestly can't shortchange it on there. I feel like for it, they took a really finite approach to it and focused on the key points that really needed to be focused on. And what's interesting is Ainz, and I understand we're just really focusing on the beginning, said what's got me worried is that Shiro hasn't done anything outlandish or unexpected or big yet. That's what's got me worried.
It means everything's going according to plan.
Yeah, exactly. And which is funny because everyone working with Ainz is like, well, I don't know why you're so worried about it. I mean, like, everything's going according to plan. We're winning this and that. It's like, yeah, that's what's got me worried. That's exactly what's got me worried.
He's like, you don't understand. This man does things. And then when he does things like magically appear in his favor.
Exactly. Which is great because then at that point, when you finally have that bomb drop and he finally comes up and it's like, hey, this is the final argument. And Irons goes out there, they make their argument and everything like that. Well, that's great. Shiro comes out. He's like, what's up, homies? Gate's working. We're getting more people coming in. By the way, this guy right here, Kinjo, he's with us. By the way, the master of the lake, he's with us. The princess, she's with us.
He's name dropping like a mofo.
It's like, oh yeah, there are all these people that are super high and important that like, oh my God, what the hell are they doing up there kind of people? Yeah, they're all with us. So yeah,
we got the financing. We got the legend himself, the one that you all are like, oh my God, he's a myth. No one's ever seen him. He's on our side too. You want to meet him? You know,
yeah.
It's drop a little tag and you're good.
Which is,
and it's just
at that point,
genius.
It's like, it is. And at that point, you know, it just finally everyone just like realizes, oh, well, now we know why he was so worried about it. It was magnificent. It was great. Yeah.
I didn't see it coming either. I saw him meeting with a few people, but I didn't really see him like working like that. Yeah. I really appreciated that about this show. One of the things I truly enjoyed about this is it felt like you're not going to understand this unless I explain it. And that's perfectly fine. And not just you, but like 99% of the people talking, we're listening. To me, it felt like Lord of the Rings as far as quality goes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. To me, yes.
I'm shocked, actually.
What?
The reason, well, because
wow.
I usually, like, we're not on the same wavelength typically, but I just thought my thought process on this particular item was so outlandish that.
No, I mean, like how, let me Gandalf.
Okay.
I mean,
fair.
That's basically the kind of the equivalent that I can get to because how outlandish and how stupidly prepared Gandalf is. Like, even if he's not there, he still has things in the works to make it happen the way he wants it to happen.
You went a different way with it, but I agree. I was going along the route of season 3 picked up right after season 2 with no interlude, with no backstory, with nothing. And it's almost like they did season 2 and 3 back to back. They just decided to wait on letting season 3 go.
Well, it makes sense that it would feel like that because the studio that did season 2 is the same studio that did season 3, Studio Deen, which is why I kind of got the animation funk vibe from it. Like the animation was good. It just wasn't as good, in my opinion,
as season 1.
Because it was Studio Deen, and season 1 it was Satellite that did. Okay. That was the studio.
A little bit sharper quality, I would say.
Yeah.
But so going back to just to explain just a little more, Lord of the Rings was all three movies were done back to back to back. There was no break. They just released them at a different time, which is why I felt like this was done the same way. But it makes sense if you have the same people. One of the things that still kind of surprises me and impresses me is season 1, 2, and 3. You have core characters who don't change, like the mentality. And I'm not saying like they don't change in the sense they become stagnant. I mean, they don't change as in the core character it felt like thoroughly explained in the beginning. And that blueprint of the character was passed on to the next studio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I liked the progression of the younger ones. So like the core characters, the older characters who were already steadfast in their ways, steadfast in their experiences and all this stuff. It's just another trial rather than a new trial, if that makes any sense. And the newer characters come through, and the younger characters, I should say, come through, and they're being molded by the experiences. So at the end of season 3, they're completely different than at the beginning of season 2. Obviously, they'd almost have to be considering the situation they were in.
Oh yeah.
But the end of season 3, they're still different than the end of season 2. And one of the biggest turns that I found was in season 2. One of the most awesome things that happened, in my opinion, was the fact that Shiro was able to change a person of the land into an adventurer.
Yeah. And they actually round back to that in season 3. And at the same time, you're also given an understanding and a story as to what actually has been happening with Krusty the whole time he's been on another server.
That was awesome. I loved that recap, and it kind of upset me, but at the same time, I was completely okay with it when they did their little intermission.
Yeah, and what's really, really cool is even Krusty being the number 1 guild leader for the entire
Battle Guild leader.
Yeah, Battle Guild leader. Even then, even he still heeds what Shiro says because of how critical Shiro is in general for almost anything.
Yeah, the knowledge, the insight, the perspective, the trust, it's been earned.
Exactly. And what's interesting is Krusty had a bunch of statuses inflicted on him. Loss of memory, unable to heal, unable to regenerate health, all this other stuff. And when he's in the middle of a fight, all of a sudden he's like, oh, I remember this. And I'm able to regenerate health as long as I'm killing this or damaging this said person. Mm-hmm. And he goes back to what Shiro said. Unless you have something ironclad written out, changes can be made. And the statuses you inflicted on me, you never said I couldn't regain my memory. You never said I couldn't regain my health if I were to do this.
Yeah.
You just said potions or killing monsters can't regenerate my health. You never said me damaging you, specific type of monster, can't regenerate my health. You never said I couldn't regenerate or regain my memories.
Which kind of brings me to a next question. He wasn't a scribe of any kind, shape, or form.
No.
So how was he able to manipulate the contract?
It's not that he manipulated the contract. It's that he saw something that jogged memory. And one of his memories was, unless there is something that is wholly agreed upon between the two parties with a firm signature, it can be changed. He was forced that particular contract on him. Didn't mean he agreed to it. So he wants to change it.
And he has the ability to.
And so he is.
Now, one of the things that he did that kind of worried me, for lack of a better term, he could gain power, gain magic points by sacrificing his memories.
Yes. And that's something that Shiro found interesting too, which I thought was really cool. Which brings to question, why, like, if you're stuck there, are you basically sacrificing only the memories that you have of your home or the oldest memories? Or are you also in the danger of sacrificing new memories?
See, I understand where you're coming with that. And the way I understood it, I saw it as a Rolodex of sorts, where you have a full Rolodex and you start in the front and you work your way to the back. And when you run out of space, the ones in the front kind of fall off to make room for ones in the back. So I assumed it was the older memories or the memories that are not needed to be remembered every day. The ones that aren't at the forefront of your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because originally when people were dying and they didn't realize what was going on, they're like, I think I had a dog. I probably had a sister. My childhood sucked, but I don't remember too much beyond that. So it was like I agree, the older memories. But I also would like to throw out the theory that the older memories contain more power, because when he was throwing away old memories, he gained a lot more MP. That could be just me hoping, and it was just abstract and didn't really matter. But I also noticed that, like, some of the things he was forgetting were people who he interacted with in game.
Well, the people he wasn't able to remember or who he was interacting with in game was before he regained his memory. Because he was trying to remember who they were. Like, because of the status effects, it said he lost his memories. And he's like, I vaguely remember them. And then all his memories came back, all the ones that had been locked away because of that curse. He instantly remembered who his guildmates were, who everyone else was, who Shiro was. And, so he remembered all of them after that wolf died and the arm was there in front of him.
Did that wolf become the arm?
I think so. I would think so.
That would make sense because we were thinking like she lost an arm.
Mhm.
What happened to that arm thing? And
because we saw it at the end of season 2 with it.
Yeah,
he had it. So I'm glad that they also tied in where the arm came from.
Yeah. And again, that's kind of why I feel like it was put right afterwards, because continuity, even the small details are brought in.
Yeah. Well, I think it also just really plays to the fact that it was luckily the same director.
Yeah.
All the way through all 3 seasons.
I wonder how that would feel. Like if you had to put yourself in a situation where you are in charge of creating something that, millions of people are going to watch, and beyond that, even more millions will enjoy throughout, the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
And how many millions of people are going to be pissed at you for forgetting something they thought was important.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That would be awkward.
Case in point. Dear Lord. The live actions. How much hate have live actions gotten?
You know what?
And for some reason, they still do it.
Probably because the people that are watching the live actions have never watched an anime before in their life. So that's probably why that they're still doing it.
You got a point. Their live actions are on places like Netflix and whatnot. So maybe if they watch them there first, that's a scary thought.
That's the only thing I can think of is they have a large enough following for people that watch the live actions. And they're like, this is a great fantasy and everything like that. And they watch it. They don't know that there's an actual anime out there that's actually far better that you could watch.
I just had a very, very scary thought. Think, if you will, someone in our near future or distant future, grandkids even, who are like, yeah, we watched Death Note. It was pretty good. You're like, wow, I remember watching Death Note. What happened? Like, yeah, William Dafoe was really good in it. And you're like, wait, what? No, he wasn't. Did you watch the subbed or the dubbed? You're like, what's a sub? What's a dub? And then you're like, I don't know if you're related to me or not. And they're like, no, watch. You're going to love it. It's great. And it's the live action that we're talking crap about right now. And you're like, no,
it's not. No.
Watch this. Watch this instead.
You're disowned. Like, I don't know you.
Grandpa.
You're dead to me. Get the hell out of my house.
You don't know. You don't. It's the dementia. It's kicking in. He just doesn't know what good shows look like anymore.
Like, yeah, but I know what my butt up yo looks like.
Right.
The hell out.
I'm not old enough not to kick yo ass. Get out of here with that fake crap. Yeah, it hurts. I know I have a vivid imagination, but like it goes there, and I'm just like, what if? What if that happens one day?
Oh, it most certainly will. I know for a fact it will, but that's okay. I accept my reality and that I will be disappointed. I will be disappointed.
From the womb, I will be like, this is what anime is. This is what garbage is. This is what you don't want. This is what will get you an inheritance.
Look. There's a reason why we have baby clothes for sale. All right. That say
this is why
we've in training.
Yeah, we have baby clothes for sale.
We do.
At our store.
Store.featuredanimepodcast.com.
Train them right.
Exactly.
Start them early.
That's all we're saying. Don't hesitate to just start them right off the bat with some great classics like No Game, No Life, Log Horizon. I mean, like, it doesn't matter. They're not going to remember most of it anyways, but start them off with like Log Horizon, No Game, No Life. If you want to go Your Lie in April, try and...
Oh, dear Lord. No. You gotta wait till they're emotionally available to watch that. Because if you watch it and you are a cold-hearted, just not feeling 5-year-old and you watch it, you're like, that's what my life is supposed to be, huh? All right, fine. Where's the piano? I'll learn it so my mom will die.
Oh, that's cold. Well, that's dark.
Hey, I'm just saying. That's what a 5-year-old... That's what 5-year-old me would get out of that. I don't want it to happen, but I guess this is life.
This is how it's going to be someday.
Oh, man. No, but going back to it, part of the progression I really liked. So, oh God, I watched the dub. I know we went over that, but I really feel like it's important to really just drive home the surprise I had with Nyanta,
Okay.
the cat.
Yeah.
The voice actor they have playing him in the dub sounds like he's the same guy who acted in Shaft.
Well, in case you didn't remember, I had talked about this before.
You did, yes, but I swear I was not expecting that. Like, dude had a smooth tone, jazzy style, and I was just like, this is what you call a miscast, because this dude should be like, he's so silky smooth in his delivery every single time. And like, I was watching the sub for season 1 and mostly season 2, and Nyanta was never this smooth at all. He was more of a, like, he'd say meow and stuff like that, and like meowsery, and you'd be like, all right, cool, it's a higher pitched voice, it's a cat. This dude came in meowsery, and you're like, whoa, who are you trying to seduce every time you have dialogue?
The guy, he's a good voice actor. I'm not going to say he definitely should not have been voicing Nyanta, though. I am just saying, like, that's why I said, and I talked about this once before, I said, do not watch the dubs. They miscast Nyanta. Like, he's, hey, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Instead of meows, it's baby. It's like, what's up, baby? Talking to a girl. What's up, baby? How you doing? I'm going to show you how to make them cookies, baby. Oh, yeah, baby.
Like I said, fantastic choice for any other character. Except for Shiro. That'd be kind of creepy. I'd be a little bit concerned.
I wouldn't be. I could totally see Shiro going, what's up, baby? I got some plans going on here, baby.
I got it.
I got it, baby. Of it.
Oh, man. No. Oh. So now we took care of most of the show so far. Leading towards the final act, I would say I was very surprised to see emotional growth.
Yes, me too.
Happy. Don't get me wrong. Happy, but surprised. I was not expecting it. I was expecting the aloof notice me senpai to last the entire. I thought that was what was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Not what actually happened. And, I love you when you're just like, what?
It's not just the emotional growth on one party.
Yeah.
It's the emotional growth from, so it's not just Minori that you see the emotional growth from. It's also emotional growth from Shiro, and the same thing for Akatsuki too.
And it did not feel forced.
It did not. I like how it all tied in together. I like how it flowed. And I like how it flowed not just at the end, it flowed at the very beginning. Like you could see this going on all the way through. And then you also see the emotional growth for the princess as well.
Well, and then our final boss I see how that was a decent catalyst for everything that happened,
Yes.
And
I see it.
It makes what everything happened make sense.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
But the person that changed the most was the person of the land. He went from a happy-go-lucky, I want to please everybody, to someone I could actually see people relying on.
I am really happy about him too. They still joked about him. He was still Rundle House. They still joked a little bit about it, but he was. You could tell his growth was a lot more serious. It was a lot more
mature,
and I feel like it really has to do with that. Shiro gave him the opportunity to be an adventurer, and I feel like he's trying to live up and not let Shiro down.
So I have a question about that. What's Shiro's goal? End game. Final thing.
Well, he's talked about it a couple times. He wants to find a way to be able to go home, but that's evolving and changing. And I don't think it's necessarily that anymore. What I think it is now he just wants to kind of just figure out the inner workings of what's going on and to put it more so to his advantage. Because he wants to go to the moon. And he said that several times. He's like, we need to go to the moon. We need to go there. We need to figure out what's going on. And he's putting pieces together. And you see that all the way throughout. He's putting these pieces together. And it's his goal is evolving based on his experiences and the feedback he's getting from other people. So take, for example, what's her face from the Debauchery Tea Party, the girl that Shiro fell in love with.
Oh, yeah.
Konami.
Yep. I'm so happy you remembered. I was like, I know it starts with a K.
Like before, he was just like, hey, we need to figure out a way to go home. And then at the end of season 2, she comes back and says, hey, I want to be able to bring my kids here and show them this great, wonderful world that I'm in, you know? And it dawned on him. And he was like, yeah, you know, I didn't even think about that, about bringing people in and being able to make it so that way they can actually leave if they want to. Come and go as they please.
That brings me to my next point, my next question, if you will. There are people who are missing, and they bring that up because they're not sure if they found a way home or if they've been comatose or like whatever's happened. And he says, oh, it's most likely they just separated, got depressed, and went on their own and just did a thing. And then they're like, no, there's still other people who are gone. We have ways of checking different servers now. They're nowhere to be found.
So one of the things that's interesting that they showed at the beginning of the opening credits, the building exploding. Mm-hmm. What I think it is, because they're showing that buildings can be destroyed.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's referenced that you could even buy the cathedral in season 2. Like you can buy the towns and basically do what you want. What I think it is that they went to a server where there was no cathedral and went to a town, died, and then that was it.
Oh, that would suck. I assumed that if you died, you'd go back to the last cathedral you were part of, not necessarily the last town that had a cathedral, but that would be scary and dangerous.
But think about it. If you're going to a new server and the cathedral in that server has been destroyed.
Yeah, you have a point. That's worrisome.
So
that's incredibly worrisome.
I have a feeling, I don't know, it may not be that, but I'm actually probably going to read. Maybe they'll, in the manga, they'll actually allude to that or discuss that or shed some light on there. If anyone else actually has some light to shed on that, I would love to know. We both would love to know.
Yeah, because that would, I'm not going to say it would change my opinion, but it definitely wouldn't hurt, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
So.
All right. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's about it.
I think this is a good spot. So on a scale of up to 10, sir, how would you rate this?
Definitely not as high as season 1. I think season 1, it's pretty damn good. What'd I rate that? A 9, an 8, something like that?
10.
10. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to make sure I didn't overshoot it. This one, if number 1 is a 10, which I still agree with, I want to throw that out there. Number 2, not a 10. I didn't give that one a 10. That's for damn sure.
No. The average score for that one was an 8.
Yeah.
But try and rate this one as a standalone, man. Give us your view.
Well, no,
total.
I was going to say 8, and because I can't go up to a 9. There's too many things I would change. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so 10, 8, 8, I would say.
Okay.
I imagine you're probably going to go with a 6 or a 7, but
I'm going with a 7.
Okay.
It's great. It's good. It's good. The animation was clean, but not as clean as season 1.
Yeah.
I'm happy with the length.
Yeah.
The ending is stupidly open, which I would rate it as a 1 just on that alone. Because of how open-ended it leads up to a season 4, but it at the same time gives you the impression that there will not be a season 4. So that disappoints and angers me. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm happy with where they left it.
That's okay.
That's okay.
That is okay.
As
it gave us a no game, no life ending, basically.
Yes.
We're like, wait till next time. Will there be a next time?
Maybe.
I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
So That is why I'm giving it a 7. I mean, it's great. I love the opening and ending sequence for it. It was great. I was really disappointed that we had to wait so long for the season 3. I'm really disappointed that we don't have word if there's going to be a season 4. Dear God, I hope there will be, but we'll just have to wait and see.
It circles back to what I was saying before. There's so much to be. This world has so much more to offer. This story has so much more to give.
Yes.
And I hope it's the same everybody. I hope it's the same company that makes it. I hope it's the same producer, same director, because they're knocking it out of the park.
They are. That they are. All right. So next week is my choice.
It is indeed.
And if you were all listening to the bonus content, you would have heard that my choice is actually going to be Tokyo Godfathers.
Tokyo Godfathers.
Yes, sir. Right. It's a movie. It came out in 2003. It's by the same director that did Paprika and Perfect Blue. So being that we both love those movies, why not go with another one of his? And
psychological mischief.
No, the genres for this one are a comedy and drama. So it's different.
Okay.
All right. It's comedy and drama, and there is no source work. So it's an original.
Like Paprika was?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll prepare myself.
Oh, I would assume that it's not going to be a psychological or mind trip or anything like that. So
okay. Yeah,
there is no source material. So like how Cowboy Bebop is an original. So Paprika, fair. Actually, I take that back. Paprika was based off of a novel.
Okay. Okay, we can make that work then. Well, I should phrase, I can convince myself it won't mess me up.
Well, genres are comedy and drama, so I'd be surprised if you got messed up. I was laughing so hard, I broke something. I don't know what happened.
Yeah. No, I was looking at it, I'm like, comedy and drama. That sounds a whole lot like a slice of life to me.
No, not quite. Not quite.
Oh, God.
I'm
looking forward to it.
So, well, that's all the time that we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this week's choice. Feel free to reach out to us at featuredanimepodcast@gmail.com, at those anime guys on Twitter, Featured Anime Podcast on Facebook. If you want to catch some of that pre-content and post-content that we do talk, patreon.com/featuredanimepodcast. Or if you want to buy some merch and help support us like that, store.featuredanimepodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Jack.
I'm Rick, and I hope you get stuck with us on our own server. Later.